So take back your life. Take one deep breath. Good morning, everyone. Is there something that you're waiting to feel ready for? And maybe you should ask yourself, why should you go ahead and start before you actually feel ready? Most of us think that confidence or preparedness is going to come first. We imagine that once we feel prepared or certain, or we're healed enough, or we're motivated enough, or we're brave enough, then we'll act. But you don't actually need those things before you begin. Confidence actually usually arrives after we start because it's built from evidence and repetition and proving to ourselves that we can do it. And that evidence only comes from that first action or consistent action. So just remind yourself next time that confidence comes after the first step, not before it. So go ahead and take the step. You don't have to feel ready before you begin. And today we're going to stop treating readiness like a permission slip for us to work towards our goals and achieve what we're dreaming of. Welcome back to the Morning Reset series with Vitality Social Network. I'm your host, Mellynn, and today we're going to talk about how waiting for the perfect mood, the perfect plan, the perfect moment, that can actually keep you stuck instead of actually working towards your goals and building momentum. Waiting sometimes feels responsible, but it could actually just be fear disguised as readiness. Yeah, right. So as being sensible. But it's not. It's just fear that's holding you back. I can't do this until is a fear loop. Sometimes there's reasonable things that you need, but I have a few examples on how I can challenge that a little bit that I'm excited to share from my personal life. So thank you to everybody who's already joining us this morning and you're ready and waiting for me. I appreciate you. I have really enjoyed doing this series every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so we can all come together and talk about how we can build better habits or set our intention for the day, be a little bit more positive, just work towards becoming who we want to be. So today we're going to go ahead and pull our little fortune cookie. Embrace a positive attitude and you'll conquer any obstacle. That is funny. I feel like we've gotten that one before. I'm going to pull another one. Maybe dig a little bit deeper and see what we get. That one's about June. We're past that. I don't like the date ones. Create your own definition of success. It's personal. Oh, I love that one. Today we can create our own personal definition of what it takes to be ready to start and how to start. Ask yourself, where do you get stuck the most on your journey and working towards your goals? Credex, if you're here, tell me what you think. Love is forever. If you're still here, tell me what you think. Where do you get stuck the most? Is it that first step of starting? Is it being consistent and staying consistent? Is it when you don't feel seen, you don't get recognition, so you're like, why am I still doing this? Nobody even cares. What is it that holds you back from your goals? For a lot of us, it's the waiting loop. And so I'm going to demonstrate what that means, what that looks like. So we have our little trusty whiteboard here today. And we're going to draw our first loop, the waiting loop. So first step is that we wait. We wait to feel ready. So then what happens because we're waiting? Nothing. No action. We don't do a single thing. We're just waiting. Maybe we're ruminating. Maybe we're worrying, We're planning. We're thinking one day there will be the right condition, the perfect time. But really what's happening is that we're not taking any action, so we're collecting no evidence. No proof to ourselves that we're actually capable or we're becoming ready or one day when this we will, I mean, if you're actually taking action towards that plan or that thing that you're waiting for, okay, that's at least one step in the right direction. We're not simply waiting, okay? But if you just wait and take no action at all, then you have no evidence. And then you know what happens? You're still not ready. You still feel like, I can't do this, right? I'm not ready for the thing that I've been waiting on. So then what happens, Whoop, you keep waiting. So that's the worst loop to get stuck in, and that's the loop that we want to break or avoid if we can today. Yeah, critics, thank you for sharing. It's definitely the first step. Hard to get started because I think of all the steps instead of just jumping into it. Oh my God, that's a perfect example. An object at rest stays at rest. Exactly. So you have to start building yourself some momentum. And maybe, like I said, if you're that kind of person that breaks down your goal into a million bite-sized steps, okay, we can talk about what that looks like. I have an example or two for that. But that's the example of still take action, okay? If you're telling yourself, oh, I can't do this yet because I don't have the budget. All right, well, are you taking action to save the money? You're like, I can't do that yet because I don't have the right skill set. Okay, well, are you spending 2 minutes or 5 minutes a day working on that skill set so that one day you will become ready? Or are you just using that as an excuse to keep you in a stable place where you're not actually moving forward, keeping you stuck, okay? That's that fear that's disguised. Oh, I'm not actually ready, or I can't do it, or what happens if, right? So we're going to talk about then how we can break that waiting loop and turn it into the evidence loop, just to demonstrate for you. I'll go to this side. Ugh. All right, so evidence loop. First step, take action. Pretty simple, okay? Any action. Start moving forward. Do something, okay? And then after you do something, you're just going to notice. Notice what happened. That could be, oh, I didn't explode, you know? Oh, things actually went well. Or I feel proud of myself. Look at me. Look, I did that. I'm working one step towards my goal and I could do it. It worked out. It wasn't a crazy, scary thing that I thought it was. I'm actually doing a thing. I'm working towards a thing, okay? So then that is going from noticing to collecting evidence. Evidence. That's that positive reward recognition in your brain that says, "Oh, okay, this is possible. I am capable. I am building momentum. I am moving towards the goal." And then that's when you have real confidence. Actual confidence, okay? To say, you know what? Maybe instead of just waiting until I feel ready, I can actually work on becoming ready and working towards readiness. And then before I know it, I'll just be doing. I'll be living and embodying that thing that I want to start. So I do want to share some personal examples of beginning before I feel ready or before I become successful. And one strong example of that is this live series, actually. So going live consistently several times a week before it actually feels successful. So I love and appreciate those of you who have been supporting me on my journey, and you're liking the streams and you're showing up in the chat and supporting me and supporting each other. Maybe you've joined our Discord and we're starting to build a little supportive community, and that means the world to me. But to be honest with you, our attendance is still a little bit low. And so, that could make me question whether it's actually worth continuing, right? Oh, do I need to keep doing this because I'm not actually reaching thousands and thousands of people? Maybe I should stop because not many people are coming. But then I have to reframe that, because every episode is evidence to myself, to my personal confidence, that I can do this. I can teach something. I can speak naturally. I can develop my voice and create something before the audience catches up. And then by the time more people join, I'll be ready. I'll have my voice. I'll have my way. And this also will snowball momentum. So I hear a lot of times that for YouTubers, it's not in the first 5 videos that you succeed. It's maybe snowballing, and by the 30th, that's the time where the algorithm catches up and decides to promote you and you reach more people. And at that point, maybe I'll have a stronger message to share that resonates with more people too. So the audience is not the only proof that the work matters, because the person that I'm becoming while doing it is also evidence to myself that this matters. And I've also had some other people watching my streams that tell me, wow, I can see a big difference from your first episode to now in your confidence. You're fumbling your words a little bit less. You have less verbal fillers like or moments where you lose the word. Okay, it still happens a little bit every now and then because I still have ADHD brain, right? But that's the point, is I'm getting more polished, I'm getting better. And as I move forward, I think of new ways to make my content more quality. So I love writing on the whiteboard. It's quick, easy, but sometimes I bring a PowerPoint. Sometimes I bring a visual that I can actually show you, and that works a little bit more effectively. So the more that I do this and show up for myself, the more I'll learn, the more polished I'll become, and then yes, the more people that I'll reach. So this is absolutely something that is worth starting before it feels successful, before I feel ready, because the only way to get ready or become successful is to do it consistently. And sometimes the first person that your dream has to convince is worth it is not other people, it's yourself. If you need to take a sip of your morning beverage, take a breath. Hit that like button while you're there. Share it with somebody. So, what does start anyway actually mean? It does not mean making a gigantic leap towards something that's unattainable. It does not mean ignoring your limits, your boundaries, your abilities. It also does not mean forcing yourself through burnout. I've definitely seen that happen for a lot of people too. You have to still find the balance, okay? But it does mean choosing an action that's small enough but meaningful enough that fear does not get the final voice. That fear is not speaking loudly enough that says, oh, I can't do that, right? If you start with one of those small, simple steps, like we talked about, you want to have $5,000 in the bank. You're telling yourself you can't do it. Can you put $5 in the bank, once a week, every day, something like that? That's a small enough step that the fear won't get to you to say, oh, I can't fit that in the budget. It's not possible. I'll never get there. It's reasonable. So start with one of those small steps so fear doesn't get in the way. And the goal is not to prove, though, that you're fearless, or that you can just do anything. It's to interrupt the waiting loop. That's what we're trying to break here. The waiting, the one day I'll do this, or what if then I can, right? Okay. If you just start and take any small action, you're interrupting that loop. So here's some other small examples. Maybe you're working towards writing a book. I know somebody that's actually been working on this for quite a long time. And that's kind of a daunting task if you just start with saying, oh, I have to write 300 pages or 20 chapters or something like that, right? But this is where we can bring back our 2-minute rule, or how we can break this into bite-sized pieces. So can you write one paragraph? Can you write an outline for your concept? Can you write one character analysis? And just start, right? And then prove to yourself that you can do it, and build that momentum a little bit, build that evidence a little bit. And if you work on writing one paragraph a day, after a year, you might find yourself having a book, or at least, some semblance of one, and then you can go back and copy it or, change and edit it. Maybe you're thinking about, um, I have to fix my whole entire routine. My daily routine is not good enough, and so I really need to change who I am and change how I behave. That's a daunting task. You can't rewrite your whole person overnight. So, like we've been working on through the Atomic Habit series, it's how can we have our evening self set our morning self up for success with one small step? How can we stack a positive habit with a neutral habit that's already in place as our cue? And so we can work on those little bite sized steps and build those habits consistently over time. And through the course of a week or a month of doing this process, then we'll have a new routine and those behaviors will stick and we will have become the person that we want to become with a great daily routine because we didn't just wait, we started and we worked towards it. Maybe you're thinking about getting a job that you're really passionate about. You really want a new career. So you could start by watching our series on that, how to use AI to get a job. Find the right fit for you, polish up your resume, work on your cover letter, practice your interview skills, and then you are confident enough to get the job. And because you've set yourself up for success along the way, you took bite-sized steps. Is there any goal that you're thinking about that you really want to accomplish, but you're telling yourself, one day I'll do that? I'll start when. Is there anything that you're holding yourself back from accomplishing? Some big dream that you have, but you feel like today's not the day, maybe one day? That is what I would love to hear about from all of you. And maybe that's a little bit more personal. So if you want, you're certainly more than welcome to join our group Discord. And there we have a community of people that are either trying to become live streamers and sharing topics that they're passionate about, or they are part of our morning reset group or our evening productivity group. And there we have a community of people that can support you. You're also able to DM me directly. So if you're thinking, Melanie, I really want to achieve this big goal, but I just don't feel ready and I'm not even sure where to begin, reach out to me and I would be happy to help you with that, figuring out one easy way that we can begin. We could also use those examples on our future streams if you're comfortable with that. And if you want, you can just let us know here. Oh, okay. So I love that example. Somebody says going to the gym. That's one where you can definitely come up with a lot of reasons not to. Oh, I'm too tired, or how can I fit that in my schedule, or it's too hard, right? So you have to think about what is the bigger goal there. Yeah, you feel like it's never the perfect time. Exactly. So is the goal then that you want to become healthy? You want to be somebody that moves more? Maybe the gym is really the goal, trying to get to the gym. But you can think about first, like, can you look for a gym that is closer to your home? Can you look for a gym that has hours or availability that better suits your schedule? Maybe you need a 24-hour gym or something like that instead of one that's limited time. And then you can think about, do I have a consistent routine? What is my consistent routine? Where do I have time to spare? Maybe it's just starting by analyzing the time that you have. Is there something that you spend a lot of time on that doesn't align with who you want to be, that could be swapped out for a positive behavior? And then maybe it's just starting small. So maybe if you just go to the gym and do a 10-minute run on the elliptical, and then you reward yourself and you pat yourself on the back and say, I did it. I went to the gym and I walked for 10 minutes. Sometimes I go to the gym and I just like tan in the tanning bed and then leave. But I tell myself, I went to the gym. I made it out of the house today. I did something. And that was proof to myself that I could do that. I could go somewhere. I could leave the house. I could make it to the gym, actually. What is stopping me then from spending 10 more minutes actually exercising? Like maybe I need to be prepared for, having my workout clothes on. Maybe I need to think about the time of day that I go because I don't like being sweaty and then what happens next, right? um, but yeah, those like small bite-sized pieces, when you think about your routine, maybe when you start going to the gym, you start smaller. You just do 10, 20 minutes, enough that you can prove to yourself that you can do it. Or maybe it's not going to the gym at all, but could you just go walk around outside of your house in your neighborhood? Could you do some stretches on the floor in your house? If the goal is movement or exercise, maybe it looks like not going to the gym at all. Maybe you just find the time in your house, how and where that you can, right? I know some people that say going to the gym, their barrier is the budget. It is the paying for a gym, right? So there's nothing keeping you from getting healthy and exercising in your own home. But I know that sometimes there's a lot of things in life that keep you stressed, keep you busy, other priorities, other things. So you really have to think about then what is important to you? Who do you want to be? And what is that bite-sized step that you can take to prove to yourself that you can do it? Something that I think about too is when I started this series, I was thinking, oh, what if I'm not well spoken enough? What if I'm not confident enough? Right? What if I'm not capable that way? But I started even while I was nervous, even while I was fumbling. And even if I didn't have a full plan, I would show up. And through doing that, I was able to build my confidence and build my ability to speak. So sometimes even when you're not ready, it's good just to begin, okay? If there's something that you've been postponing because you don't feel ready, today's the day to ask yourself, what is one, like the smallest but honest action that I could take in the next 24 hours? If it still feels heavy, still feels hard to accomplish, make it even smaller. Maybe it's 5 minutes of working out in your house, the 2 minutes of doing jumping jacks in your house. It should almost feel too easy because the goal is to create that momentum loop in your brain that it's possible, that you can do it. And so if you start with just 2 minutes or you start with just 5 minutes, that's evidence to yourself that you can do it. And it's not too hard. It's not overwhelming. Maybe you could write this down. So reset, grab your piece of paper, whatever it is that you do to follow along, okay? So I'll switch to the other side. I don't need to feel ready to blank. So that's the thing that you keep postponing or putting off. I don't need to feel ready to blank. I only need to blank. So I don't need to feel ready. I just need to what? Okay, that's the question that you can ask yourself. I don't need to feel ready to start that business. I only need to send one email. I only need to write down my idea. I only need to ask ChatGPT or AI what it would take. I only need to take that one small step. So I don't need to feel ready. That's the point. I don't have to feel ready. I just need to start. I just need to take action. I just need to do one small thing that can convince my brain that I can do it, okay? So before the day ends, take one tiny action as your piece of evidence that you're collecting. Take one small tiny action towards something that you have been waiting to feel ready for, okay? And then write down what that action proved about yourself. Did it prove that you're capable? Did it prove that you're confident? Did it prove that you can save money or you can work out or you can make time for yourself or for your kids or for your health or for your spouse? Just take one small action towards something you've been waiting to feel ready for and then collect the evidence and reinforce to yourself what it proved about what you're capable of, okay? And I don't want you to prove that you're completely capable of everything today. I just want you to collect that one tiny piece of evidence that tomorrow's version of you can look back on for reinforcement to say, you know what, I can do it. I'm allowed to begin even if I'm uncertain. I'm allowed to learn in public and grow with other people. I'm allowed to become ready while I'm already moving. So, what is your tiny action that you're going to take today? I would love to know what's one thing that you're going to try, one thing that you're going to do differently. Maybe you're trying to think more positive, so you pull out one little fortune cookie. I do this as often as I need to, and I throw back the ones that I don't like. Your style will look fabulous. Oh my gosh, that's funny because I was telling myself I'm trying to stop wearing the same clothes, like from home or when I leave the house or from one day to the next day. I'm not totally perfect at it yet. Somebody called me on that the other day, but I have gotten better with that. I do tell myself more often, okay, I can change my clothes. Look, I can dress nice. I can be a whole put together person. So just ask yourself, what is that one tiny thing that you're going to try today? And then pat yourself on the back and tell yourself that you can do it and you don't have to wait to feel ready. You are ready when you begin and when you decide to be and to feel and to live as someone who's ready. To close out, I just want to share my morning reset theme song. This is one little action that you can take if you're trying to feel positive or set your intention. It just makes me feel happy, makes me feel good. So I hope that it will do the same for all of you. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate every single one of you that joins. If you made it to the end, let me know. Make sure you like, make sure you share, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Take one deep breath. Let good energy feel that spark under your skin. Refresh your mind. Rebuild your momentum. Reclaim your life. One small win today, then another, then three. Tiny steps make thunder. Progress comes free. You're still alive, so take back your life. Take one deep breath.
Literally. Your 2 minutes to focus on yourself.
You're still alive, so take back your life. Take one deep breath.
Thank you everybody for joining. Yes. Playing your one step. Yes, one step is working towards exercise. Have a great rest of your day. I love you all.